and good night. Thanks again for downloading the Body Snatchers podcast. And when you listen, stream, or download straight to your device, CastBox is your best option. Remember, if you like what you hear today, don't forget to subscribe and comment. So let's get started with Steve, Tino, Gia, and John with the news. Enjoy the show.
Good morning and good night, however, wherever, whenever you listen to the Body Snatchers podcast. We do appreciate it. This is an E3 special. If you think you missed anything, we're going to let you know right now. I'm your host, Steve, along with Tino and John. Tino, how are you?
I'm good, man. Really excited to be covering the first day of E3. We're going to be diving into some talks on the whole EA thing that went down, as well as everything that Microsoft presented to the table day one. So I'm excited.
All right. Well, do you want to get us started?
Sure. Who wants to talk about Battlefield 5?
I'm definitely excited about it. I know a lot of people were complaining at first, but I don't really care. As long as the gameplay is good, they've added some new mechanics that we've never seen before, so I'm on board.
New mechanics, new guns.
Yeah.
I'm not even a big FPS guy, and I like the fact that like they're saying this is supposed to be the deepest, most immersive Battlefield yet. That kind of like, gets the brain moving.
Yeah. Sounds like buzzwords, but I actually think they put a lot of thought into what's going on in the new game. So, I mean, the building mechanic even looks pretty cool, and some of the things that you could do with the vehicles are pretty cool. So,
well, like the snow demo that they had looked absolutely beautiful. If you took a second to look at that.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I'm more waiting for the sandbox feature they have. A lot of these shooters are going to have that, and I know one's going to do it bad, one's going to do it right, but Battlefield usually delivers. So
I hate the term sandbox because sandbox is really just an alternative phrasing to open world.
I think that means the battle royale feature.
Battlefield Royale. Is what we'll and that's going to be the biggest thing. And I think that since a lot of games are going to be doing that this year that we saw through E3, we'll be talking about later. It's going to give games like Fortnite a run for their money.
Yeah, I'll give it a chance, but the whole battle royale thing is starting to. They're beating a dead horse.
Fortnite's free, so.
Well, all I know is the graphics look really good with bullets going through, windows. Looks like they took a lot of time for a lot of precision actions and stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to it. What I'm not looking forward to is FIFA 19. Did you guys take a look at that?
I kind of, to be honest, I kind of skipped over it because I didn't watch it day one. So when I went back to watch EA's press conference, I was just like, FIFA's cool, but I probably wouldn't pay full price for it anyway, so it's not even worth me watching this video right now.
Well, games like FIFA and Madden, every year they get better and the mechanics are a little bit improved. In this one, I know they got highlight hot shots, like a Pele kick, and they have a new championship mode that coincides with the multiplayer mode. And I know that we don't play it, but people that do really, really like this game, so they're gonna get what they want.
The detail, like on the uniforms and stuff, and their facial expressions and the dirt, like where they would fall and get back up, and the grass on their face, like it looked so real for being a sports game that I'm actually I was interested, like enough to like sit through the whole thing. I think I went back and watched it a second time, so I think they're gonna do pretty good with that. But I mean, I don't really know, how far you can go with a game like that. We'll see. This one's supposed to be, have a lot more detail as far as the career paths that you can take in a story mode. They didn't get into fine explanations on that, but they said it's going to surprise people who have been fans of the franchise for a long time. So,
and good on them not to just recycle the game, to actually put in an effort to make it a new, better game.
Yeah, you never see that anymore with sports games.
Nah.
Yeah, it was always kind of hard for them when they're pumping out, game every single year. So mostly all they can do is update the roster.
So just to recap on those two games, so we've talked about Battlefield, we hit FIFA 2019. The CEO of Electronic Arts came out and said that they're going to be switching over a lot of stuff to cloud gaming. Like they got a tech demo where the idea is in the future, very soon, you're going to be able to take your games wherever you go through like mobile playing. What do you guys think about that?
I love it. I put everything in the cloud as it is. I don't even buy physical games anymore. If I can have something that doesn't take up physical storage, but it's always with me, I feel like that should be the goal of the future, right?
I think so.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
I definitely agree.
The idea is to, if you've got a game and you're playing story mode or something and you hit a save point, that they'll have some sort of mobile adaptation where you'll be able to pick up on the go and store that cloud data later. So I was like, okay, that's pretty amazing. I mean, it may not be good for phone space, and we're all going to be having extra subscriptions to iCloud, but hey, we'll make it work. And
it's a long way from the memory card or writing down codes.
I'm sure they'll come out with something. Freaking Mad Cats will revive their company and come on with big adapters that stick on the back of your phone. Some shit like
they're gone.
I mean,
I told you they're gone.
I mean, most games now, or I'm sorry, most phones now have upward or more than 200 something gigs of storage on them. So I don't think it's too far fetched to be able to store, a fairly large mobile game on your phone without taking up too much space.
You're gonna have to pick ahead of time which game you want to take with you for the day and delete that shit later. Like you're not gonna have like too many. And then the only other thing that I had wanted to say with that is they're also adding Origin Access subscriptions for the PC. So what that means is you'll now be able to. It's gonna be like Netflix, like video games. So you'll be able to spend like $10 a month and access like all the Sims content, for example. So I was just like, okay, that's kind of a cool idea. Like, do I hate subscriptions? Yes. But do I also hate dropping $60 a game plus whatever the expansions are? Yes, even more so. So yeah, I mean,
yeah, depending on the game, I think it is a good idea. Sims, for instance, like you just said, that I'd probably buy the whole game for, because I would imagine if you're paying for the subscription and you decide one day you no longer want to pay for it, that you lose your progress. So certain games I would probably still pay for the game itself, but quick play games like some first person shooters or even fighters, then yeah, paying for the subscription, I think it's a good go-to.
Subscription is gonna take over eventually. You got Netflix, Hulu, WWE, you got Humble Bumble, it's
GameFly.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, all these companies that are charging you $60 and then the other ones going around $10 a month and you get all these games, more people are going to get the subscription. Even if they don't use it, they'll pay it monthly. It's just going to be the way things are in a couple of years. Well,
yeah,
this is a fact. Now, the next thing I want to touch base on, you guys caught a glimpse that they mentioned what's going on with the new Star Wars game that's going to be coming out 2019, holiday season 2019, the Jedi Fallen Order.
Yes, I am extremely excited because I've been waiting for a new single player or story-driven Star Wars game for a long time, since the Knights game, Knights of the Old Republic. So
yeah, I like that they're going to be going in a dark direction. It's supposed to take place in like the time where the Jedi are basically running, where everything's falling apart, so they're just like getting hunted and murdered all over the place. Like, it's going to be a very emotional game, I think.
Yeah, I think if I remember correctly, he said between episodes 3 and 4, maybe.
Yeah, that would be that time frame for anybody who doesn't know Star Wars. Shame on you.
And that's fine. Most of the headlines for this game is they're going to do it right this time, meaning they're talking about Battlefront 2. And they put in big, bold letters, no loot crates. So
they were so apologetic about everything that happened with the last Star Wars game. They just kept...
As they should have been, dude. We were so excited, and then it's like they were just trying to get as much money out of us as they could, and they didn't really care about us. But this one, I feel like they seen their mistake. Enough people stopped playing that game for them to be like, all right, well, this isn't going to work. Let's try something else. I know they're trying to trick us in some way, but so far, this game does look promising.
Well, like Steven was saying, no more loot crates, but they are adding a ton of new characters. So what was it? Count Dooku, General Grievous, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Anakin Skywalker.
Man, say it like you mean it. Anakin Skywalker.
Say it with
Anakin
your chest,
Skywalker.
Right? You pick the coldest dude and say his name like that. Shame on you.
Nah, he wasn't cold until he got his limbs cut off.
He was cold before that.
No, I'm definitely gonna play it because I want to see the changes that they did. I want to see if they can manipulate the game that they had to the game that they're gonna do now and give us exactly what we expected, the first time around.
I want to see what they're gonna do with the Han Solo update. You saw that, right?
I think that's going on now, right?
Yeah. I don't know if it's going on now, but they showed it.
It's coming out soon. I'm sorry. They were, I guess, obviously they were waiting for the movie to drop, but I think it's coming out like relatively soon, not even a month from now.
Yeah, all the characters look exactly like how they did in the movie. Childish Gambino, like you swear like he's going to be in the video game. So I was like, oh, okay. Thank you, Donald Glover. Thank you for blessing me yet again. And they're also adding in, I don't know if you guys said it or not, I may have spaced, but the sandbox levels that they're doing in this one, same thing. Everybody's doing it.
Yep.
I'm glad. Tino, have you ever you haven't played a Battle Royale one yet, have you?
Yeah, I played around with Fortnite. I hated it just because I don't like the game, but the concept I love.
Yeah, the concept is going to be awesome. I'm glad every game is doing that.
All right, now moving on. Unravel 2. Did you guys sit through the little trailer for that?
I did, and I was going to ask you if you wanted to play it, because I played the first one, and I don't think I ever mentioned it to you, but it was a fun little game, a little story game.
So with Unravel 2, it plays a lot like Little Big Planet to me, and the art of it was just really beautiful looking. I'm not saying it's Little Big Planet. I'm not saying that you're building stuff. I'm just saying that the style of gameplay
very
is
pretty
familiar
game
to me when I think of it.
Have you ever played Limbo, Tino?
Nope.
Oh, well then there's no relevance, but it's kind of like a newer, more brighter Limbo, and the puzzles are really smart, really fun, and the co-op in there that you definitely need 2 people to get past some of these. It could be really fun. I mean, the only downside is I don't think it's a couch co-op, but nonetheless, you and a buddy should definitely play it if you're looking into it.
Well, they said with this game that it's supposed to be very dependent on having, 2 players. That's the whole theme of the game. Like, it's 2 like little dudes made of like yarn that are on this crazy adventure, and their yarn is attached together. So they have all sorts of like complex things, where you're fighting bosses, where they're swinging and switching out characters, and they'll do it automatically, or you can do it with a friend. But, for actual 2-player, but it's always supposed to be 2-player. And I thought that was just like a really dope concept. So, I mean, if you don't love it, I'm sure your kids will, because I mean, I was definitely interested in it. Like, it looked fun as hell.
Yeah, it was a pretty game. So, what's up next?
Sea of Solitude.
Yeah,
SOS.
That's a really interesting concept game. Watching the creator or the story writer at the conference, she looked like she legitimately put a lot of her own personal emotions into the game. So I think that it's a cool concept, and the game itself looks pretty. Not a ton of info for it, but I'm definitely interested in what that game is about.
Well, like you said, she seems very confident about the game, and when I see someone actually put their face out there and shows this confidence, not like the motherfuckers from No Man's Sky, but just to see that, like, she's done everything she could to make this a great game, and I'm like, all right, I think that's enough for me to look into it and check out more of it, because like you said, we didn't get that much.
Well, this game is really going to stand out because it's centered around the idea of you've got a woman who has depression and becomes literally a monster from being depressed, which is crazy. And you've got to spend the entire game trying to like change her mind, like help her in like a dream world, which is amazing to me. And then you're on this crazy ocean, which looks like, I mean, it kind of reminds you a little bit of Kingdom Hearts. It kind of reminds you of that film Kubo, but everything is just blended together like brilliantly. So I'm probably going to buy that one, honestly. Like, it just looks so beautiful, so unique. It really stood out to me this time around.
Yeah, I agree 100% on that one.
Games will...
I agree. A game looking unique is a good selling point that more should try.
Like, everything was made with a beautiful paintbrush of magic. It's so great. Now, games that look like crap that I'm tired of seeing, but we'll mention NBA Live 19. Trash. Madden 19. Trash. Thanks for giving us the same fucking game for 20 years, asshole.
Every single time.
Well, I play Madden, but it is the exact
Kathy
same
said,
game. But I really don't.
Kathy was like, in Madden 19, do you think that they'll allow you to kneel during the games or no?
Not if there's a penalty. I'm not doing it.
That's fun. That was actually funny.
Your character's gonna get fined.
I was surprised. Funny. So, getting closer to the end here, the main thing that I wanted to talk about was Anthem.
Okay.
So, can we spend like a good minute diving into that futuristic apocalyptic world? FPS game, looked like it was a mix of like Halo and Destiny. The fact that have like it's solo when you're in your house, like your base, I guess you could say. But then when you walk out of the base, it transforms into open world online multiplayer. I was like, what?
Yeah, so it's kind of like how Destiny is, since you mentioned it. What is it on Destiny, Steven? Kind of like the home world where you go and buy goods and stuff.
The social space.
The social space. So yeah, the social space. So all of that's kind of single player. But then as soon as you, like you said, as soon as you get out into the world and you're getting in your exosuit, which is what the javelins, what they call them, this place looks massive. And I also like the amount of verticality and then also the amount of underground space you can get into. Like when he dove into the water and it was like this huge, massive environment. Like the game is going to be really pretty. I'm interested to see how big this map is actually going to be and how much you can explore.
And now they shown us Anthem last year, and I have no doubt that the solo player mode is going to be awesome. You can run with 4 of your friends just like Destiny. The fact that they already said that PvP isn't going to be available at launch irks me a little bit, to where they've had the time to do this. And I always say that if they want to change something, keep it, push it as long as you can to give us a great game. But the fact that they mentioned an entire mode and they're not going to put it in there, it kind of irks me a little bit, because I have my problems with trusting games after No Man's Sky and Mass Effect. It really makes me uneasy. What do you guys think?
I'm not uneasy at all, just because you have to understand that what they're doing is kind of groundbreaking to some degree. You're going to have an open world area where the whole premise of the game is you're on a world that was what they say. They said the gods were building it and like left mysteriously. So they left these giant tools used for reshaping like all the maps. So basically these tools are still in play and move around and are in conflict with there was some sort of like spirit energy or something she was saying that's supposed to be a huge premise of the game. And because of that, every time you leave and come back for the open world environment, everything's entirely different. So the mechanics behind that have got to be like ridiculous, like absolutely ridiculous. So I can only assume that they're going to launch everything else as a, the PvP or whatever, to kind of get more money going or whatever down the road. Even if it's a free update, like, people are going to want to buy the game. Like, oh, it's got PvP now, I'm in. Just wait. It's probably marketing, if anything.
Yeah.
As long as they keep their word, I'm fine with it. I mean, they showed us a gameplay. There was no smoke and mirrors. It looked awesome. You're Iron Man. You can go underwater.
4 classes.
Third-person shooter.
The Javelins, they
4
call the suit, the Ranger, Colossus, Interceptor, and the Storm class.
Storm, yeah. No, I
can't wait.
I definitely I agree with Steven to a certain extent, not having PvP at launch, but the way that they hyped this game up, or the way that they talked about it and how immersive the story can be, and then also the fact that they're setting it up to be able to add more single player or more story content as the game progresses, I'm definitely interested. I mean, obviously Destiny has done something similar, but I'm hoping they took what Destiny kind of screwed up and make it 10 times better. But this game is definitely pretty, and I'm looking forward to playing this.
I'm actually excited, and I hate FPS games again, so you're going to be able to customize gear and change the geometry of the suits, change the paint color. They're not doing loot boxes. You're going to be able to go to the store, and the only thing you can purchase if you want to with actual money is like cosmetic enhancements, which I think is pretty dope. And then fighting on land, in the water, in the sky. Come on, man.
Plus the fact that you're not stuck with one javelin. Like, you can switch your javelins depending on the mission at hand. So that's really cool that you're not, they're not forcing you to stick with your first character, basically.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. So what else was up for EA? Or was it? No, that was it, right? That was the last one.
The only other things that I want to mention real quick, and keep in mind that we're going to be, cutting out a little bit of time to keep it short and sweet for all our listeners out there, is Jump Force. Jesus Christ.
Oh.
Jesus. I turned into a woman and got wet instantly on the couch. I got to throw it away.
Now, I when I seen this game, I'm not far enough in One Piece to see exactly what Luffy was doing because it was so unfamiliar. But the way this game looks, how shiny it looks, that's the only way I can describe it. It's just shiny. It's smooth. 3-on-3 fighting styles.
3v3 tag team. Good Lord. See, just to mention real quick, because people are like, why didn't you say, don't you know about J-Stars? Yes, motherfucker, we know about J-Stars, or at least I know about J-Stars, and I'm not a fan of it. Conceptually, I was really excited to get J-Stars, but once you get it, you really feel like the game was super half-ass rushed. The gameplay is terrible in J-Stars, and anybody who says otherwise doesn't need to be your friend. It's just not that great to me, but I love the concept. This I can't speak for it. I haven't played it yet, but just looking at the way that it played, just watching it, I was like, okay, it looks like they're spending a lot of time and a lot of money to make this look good. Because if this looks good and it plays well, it's man, you can imagine the DLCs and stuff for it. Like, it's gonna make so much money. And then when they were pulling away the camera, they show freaking light chilling on the edge of the building. I did not expect them to try to incorporate Death Note into a fighting game. I am so excited to see how that looks, feels, plays. Like, you guys don't even know.
And a couple things, because you brought that up. Well, actually, I'm only going to say one thing. Since we've seen Light and it's a 3-on-3 fighting style, think about how big this roster has to be. Think about what kind of DLCs we're going to get. I mean, it's so exciting if this fighting game is actually as balanced and as fun as it looks. I think it could make a lot of money and think it could turn into a pretty good franchise for anime fans. I'm excited.
Absolutely. Sekiro Shadows Die Twice.
Yep.
That game looks like a mix of Dynasty Warriors and sex and
God of War, Dark Souls, like it had a lot of different elements.
Heavenly Sword, like it looks brutal. It looks beautiful. I cannot wait to check that game out. I was not expecting them.
The swordplay in that game looks so much fun.
Yeah.
It does. I think it's going to be like Heavenly Sword, where they just spend, art where like in like mid combat as she's, well, I should say he or whoever the hell you're using is swinging, their weapon around. Depending on what you're doing, it'll have button commands and probably change the camera angle, because that's what it looked like we were getting out of the fights. Just that video, and I'm like, dude, I am so excited for that. Like, single player games are coming back so strong this year, and I couldn't be happier. Like, thank God, God of War is like paving the way for like all this awesomeness that's coming our way.
And it's kind of like that Arkham Knight style, to where if you can hit the button fast enough and attack fast enough, you can take on 30 people, and they make it look,
Believable,
legit with logic,
Yeah, I legit thought it was Dynasty Warriors when the trailer started, but then I was like, oh, this is not. But
that's
this
racist.
Is awesome.
I'm going with Steven on this one. Sorry, John. So,
all right, Tino, you got something else?
Very last game that we're going to touch base on because we got to go. Devil May Cry 5.
Ooh, I never played one.
Really?
That's not true. I played 2, and that was when you can walk on walls and jump. But I'm watching this one, and a lot of people are complaining about his look. How do you feel?
People can go fuck themselves. I don't care. So Devil May Cry 5 is going to be an amazing game, because Devil May Cry 4 is my favorite Devil May Cry game of all time, just because they got deeper in the lore. So, you've got Nero coming back from Devil May Cry 4. His Devilbringer arm has been freaking cut off and removed by some mysterious figure that we don't know who he is, and it's been replaced with this robotic arm. And then there's this woman that I don't know who it is yet, but the woman that he's traveling with seems to basically be Cindy from Final Fantasy 15, where it looks like she's going to be upgrading the arm for him as the game goes on.
Yeah, as
he's on the hunt to get his Devilbringer arm back. And Nero is debatably either the reincarnation of Virgil from the previous games, or he's the son of Virgil. We go back and forth all day. I personally think it's the reincarnation. That's my stand on it, and I'm sticking with it. But it just looks like it's going to be so good. I wonder where it's going to go. I wonder if they're going to bring Mundus back, or if they're going to bring Sparta back. Like, something big is going to happen in this game, because the one that came out after 4 was complete trash, where they were younger. And that's why people are upset about the look, because it reminds them of a younger Dante. It's not. Get over it. It's not the same game just because he has a short haircut. And not only that, at the very end, they show Dante coming through on his motorcycle, so he's going to be in the game as well. So it's going to be a win all the way around, no matter how you look at it. So I absolutely cannot wait. I thought they were pretty much done, because the game that came out after 4 when they were younger was such a piece of shit. But nope, they're coming back.
Yeah.
Yeah, if there's a collection hanging around, I'd like to revisit those games and see what the strong fan base sees. And especially,
they're on sale right now on I think the PlayStation Plus store right now. So if you want to take a look when you get a chance, you can get them discounted.
Really, I'm definitely going to look into that.
It's worth it. But that was all I had. So yeah, I guess we'll tune in, for more info on E3 as we move along.
All right. Bodysnatchers.com is a place you need to keep up with us. Join the conversation, subscribe, like, comment, and share. So for Steve, Tino, and John, tell someone you love them. Take care.
Good night.